Friday, November 23rd, Vincent Rieu is peacefully settled in his boat. He's got time to shave. He's third in the ranking, nothing to report. Hello from on board PRB. It's bathing time. After the boat's reviewing, it's time for the man's upkeeping. But the next day, the man's upkeep becomes his least concerns. His boat takes the prime. During the night, he collided a metallic buoy drifting in the ocean. A huge tear on the front hull, and worse, the outrigger is split. To put it simply, a part that holds in place the mast. What's a Vendée Globe up to? Crap drifting in the ocean.
Allez, à plus.
Vincent doesn't get flustered. A little carbon by day to reinforce the hull. A little strat at night to repair the outrigger. But will it be enough to enter the South Seas? In the morning, the answer falls flat, cold, as reason. Hello everyone. Today's Sunday, November 25th. This morning, we've had to make the decision to abandon the Vendée Globe. It's a little dramatic to end this way. Now I'm going to have to learn to live with it. That's it. At the press meeting during which he announced his decision, we could tell the man was shaken. Unusual for such a figure. There must have been no other alternatives. How unjust can sailing be? Even for the best. Vincent Rieu's story is closely tied to the Vendée Globe. He's won it once. The race loses here a great figure as well as a wonderful pretender. A nice thought for Vincent, who's probably going through hard times at the moment. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. So come on, Vincent, don't lose your good spirits. 4 years ago, Jean-Le Cam capsized around Cape Horn before being rescued by Vincent. A tragic as well as happy moment that will forever mark the event's history. So to be honest, with such a rapport with the race, it's annoying to have to abandon because of a drifting piece of shit in the ocean. Last time I arrived with snow in Ushuaia, today under the sun in Salvador de Bahia. It isn't Les Sables d'Olonne. There are buildings and all, but it isn't the right place, unfortunately. That's how it goes with the Vendée Globe. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Vincent is no longer there, and a great strategic moment is falling into place. The head of the fleet has to cope with the Sainte-Hélène anticyclone blocking the way to the south. For now, Armel Lecléac'h, Jean-Pierre Dick, and François Gabard are still serene. We're still heading south. Getting around the Sainte-Hélène anticyclone. Brazil is on the right, the anticyclone on the left, towards the roaring 40s, which will reach in about a week. For now, it's still shorts, t-shirts, and Crocs. But next week, we'll be wearing foul weather gear and gloves. It's full pace. There is Armel Lecléac'h, and upwind is François Gabard on Massif. As you can see, there's not much wind. We're 20 degrees south, reaching starboard, nearing the Sainte-Hélène anticyclone. A bit too near to my point of view. It wasn't planned that way in the files. But it's their trade winds, they come and go. Maybe in an hour we'll have 20 knots. We won't go as far as saying the Vendée Globe is now unfolding, but rather impatient to see what the end of the skipper's chess games that's now taking place. Jean-Pierre Dick is the first to get off the direct route and plunges down south. François Gabard is on his trail. Armel Lecléac'h takes the shortest way. Results in several days. Each made their choice. Blindfold. What's to expect?
At the moment, there's two thoughts of which way to go. One, you can go down that way, or two, you can go this way. If you go down that way, it means that you have to cross an area of light wind, and then there's new wind coming from that side. So you're the first people to get that new wind, and that rockets you to the south. Whereas myself, Bernard Stan behind me, and the leader, Banque Populaire, we're trying to stay this side of the band of light wind and hopefully make enough miles now, while those guys are in the light winds, to be able to keep us in our position when the new wind arrives. It's a it's a tricky situation, and really there's no right answer right now. And
This uncertainty naturally generates stress, tension, anguish prowls. There's a ridge that's sharing, and we have trouble getting through. Such is life, except for the squall. It's pleasant. With the squall, it's rather sporty, but fun. Positions move about. Jean-Pierre Dick with the most radical option is getting his payback. He's fifth, 340 miles behind the leader. Ah, that wins when you get me. How tough. It's really tough on board Virbac Paprec 3. The whole afternoon for the last 6 hours, not a cinch of wind. It's a little scary. This is the lowdown. Not very thrilling. It's not very thrilling for them, but it is to us. Because for now, there's only one certainty. It's coming in from the back end. And there's one who's playing his game well.
Hola, hombre. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué
Hello,
tal,
man.
hombre?
How are you?
Muy bien.
How are you?
Je fais pas que
Listen,
bricoler,
I'm not only a handyman, I know how to helm.
Voilà, dans ces conditions,
Under these conditions, it's nice to helm.
comme un cheval,
It's
quoi.
like with a horse.
Qui-
You gotta show who's in charge.
faut être ferme au
You
départ,
have to be firm to begin with,
et smooth
then smooth.
par la suite. Donc là, t'es top,
So
Momo.
here is a good pace.
Ça galope,
It's
on
all
voit
out.
que le bateau est à bonne vitesse.
We see the boat is at good
C'est
speed.
un assez bonheur parce qu'on est en train de
And
récupérer.
I have to say, it's swell. We're making up some mileage on the group ahead.
La flottille est en
The
train de se
flotilla is
regrouper.
rounding up. We're here chasing with our friend Javier Sanso. Jean Le Cam, Mike Golding, and Dominique Vavre have made it back on the lead. We're going quite fast, 18 knots. How fast am I? 16 knots. Gosh, it's not enough. I should be faster. 18 perhaps. That would do, wouldn't it? 18.
Bon, bah voilà, un petit 18,
You'd
ça
be
vous
happy
dira,
with
ça.
18. Yes, thank you, Jean. 18's great. But while at the outposts, some savor their return or wonder about their option. The last past the equator. From now on, all are on the other side, the south side. 3, 2, 1. Top.
Et voilà, nous voilà
So
dans
we're now
l'hémisphère
in the
sud.
southern hemisphere
Et maintenant, on a la
and
tête
head
en l'air.
over heels.
C'est la
It's
fête.
party time. Not much longer time before I pass the southern hemisphere. There, I passed. I'm gonna fix myself a nice slice of ham. The French must drink champagne.
hop là! Oh! Passage! Latitude sud!
Alessandro Di Benedetto was the last to join them on the other side of the world. Far behind, but happy.
Houston,
Houston, do you hear me? True, it's a little like being out of space here. We're alone and out of the world. Alessandro Di Benedetto has a communicative joy of sailing. Even the birds look to share his good company. When I'm at the helm, he comes in for a visit. It's fun company. For a while, he's been steering, or trying to. Alessandro has already been on an around the world solitary with no stopovers on a 650. In other words, he's an adventurer who loves to get around, his way at sea, and an art of living. This is salad from the seeds I planted. Alessandro is permanently teaching things. Isn't that one of the merits of the Vendée Globe? To open perspectives, catch the world's smallness as well as its grandeur, to transmit some values at all times and in all places. The skippers seem to have humbleness qualities, facing the sea, the elements, courage, perseverance. At the end, I find that in school academics it's interesting to find these qualities. In Lanneville-sur-l'Essonne, Loiret's public school, the Vendée Globe is a source of daily conversation. If children learn much about it, they're also very aware of the race's progress. They're moving fast, overtaking themselves, overtaking and moving fast along. Now, who's leading? You said it, it's Armel le cléac'h. Still leading, but until when? On Friday, November 30th, during the press meeting, he gave out the keys to the great strategic game put in place a few days ago. The gaps with my comrades that sailed west are now showing. It looks as though Jean-Pierre and François' options were better. They'll be in the front by the Aiguilles Gate. Armel le cléac'h, who is leading the race for the last 2 weeks, could pass his leadership to Jean-Pierre Dick and François Gabard. We use the conditional tense as we know the amount of manipulation held in these meetings and that it's all taking place in a tight knot. Still, you got to enjoy the scare yourself game when you're a skipper, betting it all on an option blindfolded. Jean-Pierre Dick played his game and seemingly won. Wow, it's really sprightly on Virbac-Paprec 3. Dead winds have given way to strong winds. They're in the roaring 40s. Welcome on board Virbac-Paprec 3. 1 month in the Great South Seas is now starting. With this low pressure. Steady speed for Mirabeau. About 18 knots. Today is November 30th. It's rowing well and safely. An ideal time for drinking coffee, listening to music, except that it's a little too noisy on board. Listen, we're up to 24 knots at times. It's beautiful. There are even birds around. It looks like the real South. All right, bye now.
Ciao.